Thank you very much for being here tonight. Last Thursday, the Toronto Star published an article about a staff member in a Brampton nursing home who first physically assaulted a resident, then warned a witness not to tell anyone. What made the matter worse was that two other staff members who were aware of the abuse chose not to report it. The Star also concluded that cases of abuse in long-term care and retirement homes in Ontario are underreported, that each month hundreds of residents are punched, pushed, verbally or sexually abused. We at Elder Abuse Ontario believes that this is wrong and has to be stopped. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, not every day we hear about it in the news. However, elder abuse is a very serious, very growing issue in Ontario. Our law currently only requires elder abuse to be reported in long-term care or retirement homes when the victims are in their house. The law doesn't require. As a direct result, a very limited data is being collected because basically it's not being reported enough. Recent studies, however, indicate that between 2 and 10% of seniors 60 years of age and over in Ontario will experience some kind of abuse or neglect each year. We have more than 2 million of seniors in our province right now. That put the number to 40,000 to 200,000 being affected. And within 20 years, the year that most of us here in seniors age, the number will be double to 40,000 to 800,000 people. So what can we do? Let's think about our seniors. Once, the epitome of vitality and grace. Our seniors have worked so hard and they have contributed so much to the society. Now it is our responsibility to ensure they can live with dignity and respect. We believe that knowledge is the key to prevention, and prevention should be everyone's business. Each of us, either as a family member, a friend, a neighbor, a service provider, to those seniors who are at risk, has an obligation to reach out, to watch out for them. Once we decide that we are on their side, we can look into the type of abuse, its impact on our seniors, its indicators, and how to best get involved. So what are the types of abuse? It comes in many forms. It could be financial abuse, psychological abuse, physical, sexual, or neglect. And financial abuse is the most common. And sadly, it's mostly done by family members. So what are the impacts? It's detrimental on the well-being of our seniors because study shows that the stress associated with abuse can lead to long-term physical problems, psychological problems, heart attack, anxiety, isolation. We want to help our seniors, but what to look for? What will be the indicators? It could be a sudden change in behavior, in appearance, or we can see physical injuries, or we can notice something about their financial resources. However, please keep in mind the strongest indicator that a senior needs help is for them to tell someone. And when they do, please trust them. You could be the only person that they can confide on. You could be the only hope for that senior. Now you suspect someone you know is being abused, or now you know for sure someone down the road being abused. What do? Our website, elderabuseontario.com, has a wealth of information. It has step-by-step instruction on what to do, who you can call, which service lines, which organization, and even when you can involve the police. Because it is a criminal offense for someone to abuse seniors. First and foremost, the least we can do is always try to be a friend, always try to offer help and support, to call on them and visit them often. Our seniors need to know that it is safe to reach out, that there is someone out there that care, and let's hope that somebody is you. Now I'd like to open the floor for question and answers. Yes.
Can you tell me why do seniors seldom report ever being abused?
You mean why the abused senior never speak out?
Yeah, why do seniors seldom report elder abuse?
Thank you very much for your question. First of all, because the law only requires that abuse inside long-term care or retirement home to be reported. And most of the abuse that we've seen from our experience come from the people who live inside the house. These people, they don't know what to do. They do not know that there is help out there. They are scared. They don't know where to turn. And also they are afraid of the abuser, what the abuser will do to them. They are afraid that they will be taken away food, shelter, and clothing. They are afraid to be put in a situation, to put in a long-term home, and won't be staying in their place anymore. Obviously, they feel helpless and they don't know what to do. So that's why when you suspect something, David, you can reach out to them, give them information on their rights and what agency could be of help to them, because they're just confused, they don't know what to do. Yes, ma'am.
I've run into this so often, being in the financial world, and I'm still involved in at least 5 or 6 cases of it. It's on the go. And I think one of the best things I can tell everybody, if you happen to be in some kind of a business where you're selling something, I was in the financial services, and I got to know my people very well, and they're still coming to me, and I can tell you about financial abuse, emotional abuse, all kinds of abuse and examples, but I'm not going to go into detail. But I think the biggest thing is I tell everybody at some point in your life, you are going to be vulnerable, whether you like it or not. And this vulnerability, even the strongest people. I had 2 friends, I mean, I would never have suspected it, this one person. You know, a really spitfire of an English lady, she's gone now, but she was one, got caught in a trap. And you're persuaded to do something you really would never do if you were in your right, if you were feeling fine and things were okay. You've got to be home. I had it with my client.
It's not your speech, it's hers, Alice.
No, but I think, what can you do about it? Other than that, you can get to know people, but you have to get to know your neighbors. What would you suggest?
I would suggest that be on the lookout, be aware that the abuse is there. It exists, and
Hard to see.
it exists more often than you know. Start looking in the homes, because that's where I think the abuse happen a lot. Verbally, you don't know when you say something to your parents, you put them down. When you say, if you don't do that to me, you won't see my kid this weekend. So it's more often than you know. It's nothing big. It could be just you saying something you don't mean, and that's abuse. Yes, sir.
As Alice mentioned about the finance, my question is, what are the ways seniors can use to protect their finance or property or their well-being?
Thank you very much. Talking about financial, what can the seniors do to protect themselves against fraud? I know a gentleman not too far from my street. He would give his credit card, his bank card, his PIN number to his nephew, who would go and deposit the checks for him, withdraw the cash for him. And that is one thing that you don't do. You should keep that to yourself. If possible, then learn how to deposit online, how to pay using computer. That would be much safer. And also, if you don't know what you are signing, what in front of you, seek help. And try not to be in the position, like you mentioned, Alice, that you put yourself into a position you cannot get out and you feel trapped. It's not easy, but that's why they need to know the information available for them, so they can do that. Have a power of attorney, and try to know the person who really care about you, who will care for your wishes, and to carry that out. For the well-being, let Alice also mentioned something really nice. Before you move out of your house to go into your kid's house, giving them money, think twice, triple, 4 times, 5 times. Because when you are giving all you have to them, you are trapped under their power. More than often, the kids nowadays, they don't have enough money to purchase big houses. They use the money from the parents, and the parents is trapped that way. I saw your hands come up, sir.
So we're living in a society that is very abusive. We got child abuse. About 60% of all kids are abused at one time of their lives. We have about 40% of women. We have about 25% of men in relationship are part of spousal abuse. When we report abusers, how do we take care of the root cause of the problem?
This is a big issue, more than the scope of my conference today. I would suggest that you take a look at our website, or I can stay after, we can discuss that. But that is a very valid question. It takes more than one person to address the issue. We are dealing with the surface, what we see, but to deal with the root of it, everybody has to be on the same page, and that would be subject for another time. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I realize, madam, that you are a volunteer organization, but in my preparation for this press conference, I went to your website 3 times last week, and it was down. Now, I don't understand. This is not right. What are you going to do to improve your website?
At times, the system was down, and I'm sorry that when you went online, that the system was down. It happens to any organization at any time, any given time. And I hope you came back and you got the information you need.
Well, finally, but I mean, that's the epitome of absurdity as far as I'm concerned.
But she's not
Thank
an
you
elder.
for that comment, because we do need volunteers who knows about computer. We are a group of volunteers who use our personal time to gather information, to put on a website, to try to get the word out, so the people know that there is help for the senior being abused and what you can do about it. And that's our hope. If you want to join us, you're more than welcome. Thank you for that question. One more, yes?
As you mentioned, like most of the abuse, the people who got abused, elder people, they don't have information what to do in the case if they get abused, right? So as my speech today was about income tax and you, right? So is there any way that when the assessment done, financial assessment for the seniors, we can insert the leaflets showing that in case if you get abused or something like that, you get the information from following website or following your organization. We can do like that?
I think that would be the one thing that we can do right now. The problem, I think, could be that most of the seniors who are at risk in these abusing positions, it helps, but I wouldn't rely only to that. There would have to be some other ways, some other, from the government come down to the provincial, to the organization, and down to the people, to us. That would be a better way to address the problem.
But
thanks,
right
Sarah.
now, the people who get abused, they don't have information where to go in case of they get abused, right? At least they get some kind of information what to do in that case.
Yes, so that's one thing that if it could be implemented, that would help. Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, I was thinking,
elders that have been abused, I think they kept to themselves. And so the abuser, it's easier for the abuser to abuse them in secret. But if they branch out and have a community of people that are accountable, then it's very hard because they can say so and so, they can complain to somebody and say, well, this is happening, what do you think? But I think they kept to themselves and that's their lifestyle, and so it's hard for them to get out of that. But I would encourage everyone right now that 30 and up, have a community of people.
I qualify.
That there's accountability, that it's very hard for people to abuse you because you can get feedback from people instead
Thank
of
you
staying
very
by
much.
yourself.
Thank you.
Abuse is not a single act. 80% of the abuse are recurrent. And like you mentioned, a lot of seniors, if they don't know the language, they don't have a circle of friends that know the system.
Yeah.
They don't know anything
Everybody have
outside.
another person that speaks their language, so reach out to that community.
That is right. We are working with multicultural seniors group as well. We try to pull our resources together, and we hope to have a bigger impact